Today on the channel, we're doing a special countdown video as we're counting down the top 10 Ringside Collectible best-selling wrestling figures of 2023.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another countdown video, but something with a twist here today, as this isn't necessarily my countdown video. I mean, it is my video, but this is Ringside Collectibles' top 10 best-selling wrestling figures of 2023. Of course, all-encompassing wrestling figures, be it WWE Elites, Ultimate Editions, exclusives, AEW exclusives, AEW Unrivaled, Unmatched, Supreme. You get the idea. It is the top 10 wrestling figures based on sales in 2023 from Ringside Collectibles. And Ringside, a big year, of course, this year for Ringside. One of the biggest years as far as exclusives and must-have exclusives I think Ringside's ever had. And of course, Ringside Collectibles, use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10%, of course, over there every single day. Gotta get a deal at all times. But Ringside, I've been shopping there since I was in high school. Still shopping there today, as you guys do know. But it's a very interesting list, as I've done my countdowns on the channel, things like that. But this is an interesting one, as this really dictates what the fan base out there that at least knows what Ringside is, that buys from Ringside, this is what resonated with that audience. And of course, start at number 10, being the least selling, you know what I mean, all the way to number 1, which was the best selling figure Ringside had in 2023. So an interesting list, a fun list, a few surprises, and a few things to be expected on this one. But let's start the countdown off at number 10. We kick off the best-selling Ringside Collectible Figures of 2023 list at number 10, and this one comes to us from the WWE. It comes to us from the Ultimate Edition line, and this is a figure that I think a lot of people probably have possibly as their best Ultimate of 2023. It is Seth Rollins, an all-timer and easily the best Seth Rollins figure we have ever had to this date. Very, very interesting at number 10 here. Now, this was a mainstream release. This was not a Ringside Collectible exclusive. Sometimes that might skew a few things on this list, but this was an everyday release, so that tells you how strong this one was, that people went to Ringside to pick this one up. I wonder if this was an exclusive, how much higher it would have been on the list, but as far as Ringside goes, Seth Rollins coming in at number 10. Number 9, a very interesting one here, as number 9, like a lot like Seth Rollins, was a baseline release. This was not a Ringside exclusive. This was available to everyone. This was part of the Elite line. Of course, the standard WWE Mattel line is the Elite line. This one goes to Series 102 and tells you how popular this performer has come in the last year or so, that this would be this high on the list. But it is, of course, Gunther from Series 102, the current Intercontinental Champion and the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time. Coming in here at number 9, so another one of those mainline releases that seemingly everybody did want, at least at Ringside. To pull him all the way to number 9, I think is quite the feat there. And I think out of this whole list, this may be one that people would not think of as being a top 10 bestseller. But a fabulous, fabulous figure. Walter, of course, previous, that's what we got the figure of his first go around the Elite line. Now we're getting the Gunther version here. Slim and trim, looking good. Just missing the Intercontinental title. But I do know, and I fully do expect to get some more Gunther figures in 2024, so we'll see if he's on this list next year. But coming in this year at number 9 is Gunther, Elite 102. The number 8 spot, once again, we go to the Mattel Elite line. We go to all the way to Elite Series 105, a fairly recent release, but one a lot of people were clamoring for. It is a regular release. It is Dominic Mysterio. Dominic, an all-timer of a year last year. Obviously, one of the biggest performers. I can't believe saying that, because a lot of people were like, oh, he's not ready when he was teaming with his dad. But talk about a breakout year. Wrestled everybody, wrestled on about every single show, including NXT. Just an iron horse this year. And he's young, he's got a strong back, he can do that kind of stuff. But a lot of people wanted Dominic Mysterio figures in 2023. I fully expect that to continue into 2024. Could we get an ultimate Dominic Mysterio in 2024? Wouldn't that be something? we'll see what happens. But here, coming in here at number 8 this year, the number 8 best-selling Ringside Collectible figure is Dominic Mysterio, Series 105. Next up at number 7 is a Ringside Collectible exclusive, and for the first time in this list, we do go to AEW, one of my absolute favorite sets ever from AEW, and one of my favorite figures of 2023 is a part of this set. It is the Jazzwares Blood and Guts 2-pack, of course, MJF and one CM Punk, especially that CM Punk being an absolute all-timer of a figure. I love blood on my figures, going back to the Jakks Classic Superstars days. Love this CM Punk, and of all the Blood and Guts figures so far, this CM Punk is right at the top of my list. Just an all-timer, beautiful figure, beautiful box set, a true must-have if you ask me, and it is the number 7 bestseller of 2023, which I guess I kind of assumed it might have been a little bit higher personally. However, I think Blood and Guts aren't for everybody. There's not a lot of parents going to Ringside and saying, I'm going to get this bloody figure for my little kid, so I can see that maybe missing some sales there. But for someone like me, knowing what I like and liking what I like and the way it goes from there, this is all about it. I'm all about this one here, and it came in at number 7 in the top 10 bestseller list. The number 6 figure on this countdown list, possibly the most controversial WWE Mattel Elite figure of 2023, as so many people were so excited for this to come out, but it was a roller coaster of emotions, and I don't know if I just kind of tried to justify it in my unboxing. I think some people said that, but to me, this Solo figure from Elite 104 came in at number 6. So that tells you the hype train was there for Solo. Solo sweeping the nation like a young Dominic Mysterio in 2023, but a lot of people clamoring for this figure, and then a lot of people very disappointed by this figure because they felt the torso just was not correct on him. Me, I imagine this is Solo from his first NXT run. When he first broke into NXT, as he has gained some weight over the last 3 years or so from when he started NXT. So to me, justifying in my head, I think of this as NXT Solo, but a lot of people, of course, want Bloodline Solo, and we are getting that in Series 107 here as part of 2024. We'll see if that makes the list in 2024. But a lot of people mad saying, okay, they rushed a Solo to market, now it's inferior, now I gotta buy another one. I can see people complaining about that one. But this one, much like Dominic Mysterio, a lot of people wanting in their hands. Another mainline release here, being Elite Series 104, but Solo, bright things ahead for him, I think, in 2024, so we'll stay tuned to that. But in 2023, his Elite coming in at number 6 on the bestseller list. We're at the halfway point in the countdown at number 5, and number 5, once again, we go to AEW, this one being a Ringside Collectibles exclusive, and personally, I figured this would be higher on the list, but I think one of these times, you gotta take that business step back a little bit, as we're talking about the Ringside Collectible AEW Danhausen exclusive, one of the greatest Ringside Collectible exclusives of all time, an absolute game changer, a beautiful Danhausen figure, but a lot of people would say, hey, maybe this is number 1, number 2. I think the issue right here is a lot of us that are in the wrestling figure bubble, a lot of us are in the hardcore wrestling fan base bubble. We all love Danhausen, we get Danhausen, but to the outside people, like the people that are on the periphery, like my dad, that just kind of pays attention a little bit to be dangerous, he doesn't even know what a Danhausen is. So I think that is part of the juggernaut of WWE, getting all the kids, all the mainstream attention, the majority of it, I should say. I think that's what pulled this one down. Now, very respectable being number 5. Of course, Danhausen, a figure fan himself, a guy that does a lot of autograph signings, so a lot of people buying for this to get signed for autographs. I think just to the general public, the grandmas and the grandpas that head over to Ringside Collectibles buying figures, maybe the Danhausen doesn't resonate as much, but still, number 5 out of all the figures sold, that's nothing to sneeze at. That's a good spot on the list, but Danhausen coming in at number 5 in the 2023 bestsellers of Ringside Collectibles. We're at the number 4 spot in the top 10 Ringside Collectible bestsellers of 2023. And number 4, once again, we go to Ringside Collectible exclusive line. We go to the Return of the Defining Moments line. And we go to a figure that is very loved by most wrestling fans out there. Of course, it is Mick Foley. Of course, it's Mankind. Defining Moments from the Hell in the Cell against Undertaker. An extremely strong figure. A figure I absolutely do love. Is it absolutely perfect? No. But it is truly a moment in time, dare I say, a defining moment? Yes, it is. You get the great sculpting in the back of the shirt with the thumbtacks. You get the tooth up in the nose, the extra head. There is a lot to like about this figure, and obviously the fan base resonated with it as it's the number 4 best-selling ringside figure of 2023. I think it's a Hall of Fame beloved character that a lot of people get autographs from. He's at a lot of autograph shows. It's truly a defining moment. Of course, WWE figure. A lot going on for this one here. Carried it all the way to number 4. Just a strong, strong figure. Is Mankind, and that's why he's the number 4 bestseller of 2023. Next up, we're down to the final 3, and number 3, once again, we go to WWE, we go to Mattel, and if you had to put this list together, or if I should say I had to put this list together, I don't think I'd have this in the top 10, and I'm not exactly sure why. I just don't feel this would resonate as many sales as it obviously did here, but I would say this is the sleeper one of the list. It is the NWO Retro 4-pack. WWE, of course, the old school Hasbro style figures here. So, boy oh boy, the NWO really did resonate in 2023 to make its way all the way up to number 3. I guess I just underestimated maybe the amount of Hasbro style figure collectors. I don't know, but I do hear people getting in, people getting out of this line. It's just like, I feel like this line doesn't get as much buzz as maybe the Elite lines and the Ultimate lines and even like Supreme lines, things like that. But apparently it's right there, and it's a steady ship that keeps on going, and number 3 is beyond respectable. So the sleeper of this year's list, to me at least, at number 3 is NWO Retro line on the best-selling ringside figures of 2023. We're at the final 2, down to the number 2 spot right here. And number 2, another one, a good brother out there, a figure I knew would be high on this list. I just didn't assume maybe this high. Once again, we go to WWE, we go to the Elite line, we go to the defining moments for Cody Rhodes. And truly a defining moment, another Hell in the Cell favorite there. Cody took that robe off, took that jacket off, and we saw the bruising on his bicep. Just could not believe that. And to get that in figure form was so cool. A perfect Ringside Collectible exclusive, a perfect true defining moment, made a lot of sense. And our closest thing we're going to get probably to with Blood and Guts with the WWE Mattel line. Just an all-timer of a figure, way high up on the list. Truly the year of Cody Rhodes. Had a lot of figures, but obviously resonating with the fan base, with the consumer, moving his way all the way up to number 2. So shout out to Cody being number 2 in the best sellers for Ringside Collectibles. But that leaves only one. Who can be left? Who was the best Ringside Collectibles seller in 2023? Well, stay tuned. Here we are, we're at the number 1 spot, the number 1 Ringside Collectible bestseller of 2023. And when this was first announced, I actually was in the presence of John from Ringside. And I said, John, this is a major coup. I'm not telling him anything he didn't know, of course, but this was a major coup. There was a lot of hype for this one. There was a lot of people wanting this figure, and I should say figures. And I'm not shocked this is number 1. Personally, I would have guessed number 1 or possibly number 2. But here it is. The dust is settled on 2023, and this was the number 1 best-selling Ringside Collectibles figure of 2023. What is it? WWE Mattel Ultimate Edition Uso 2-pack. Uso crazy, of course. Jimmy and Jay, part of the bloodline, the separation of the bloodline. Truly a banner year for them as well in the WWE, and it resonated with the fan base as everybody seemingly wanted this 2-pack here. I remember the first series of those came for Ringside, sold out obviously for pre-order, but boy, eBay prices were out of control on this one. People not wanting to wait for second, third round reshipments and things. Just an all-timer set, one of the biggest Ultimate sets of the year, no doubt about it. Is it perfect? I don't think it was, but I think there was enough hoopla, enough hype behind this one that a lot of people jumped on the Uso train, the Bloodline train, and carried this one up to number 1. Quite the seller here for Ringside Collectibles in 2023, but that is it. That's the top 10. Be very interested to see what happens in 2024. What will the top 10 be? I don't know. It'll be very interesting. I guess we couldn't guess at this point as we really don't know what's coming out too much yet. But it'll be an interesting year in 2024, and we'll try to redo this list next year as well. So there it is. Top 10 Ringside Collectible sellers of 2023. Let me know your thoughts on this list. Any surprises? Any you thought would be higher? Any you were shocked that were even on the list? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And of course, don't forget to like this video. You made it this far. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Turn on the old notification bell. We got videos every single day. and then some. We got even more content for you, of course, over there on Patreon. Patreon, your best way to support this very YouTube channel and all the content it does bring. You can also support the channel at ProWrestlingTees.com. Search Kyle Peterson. And don't forget social media, SirPaul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, and on Instagram. So for the top 10 ringside bestsellers of 2023, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.